Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be looking at, does spicy food increase your testosterone levels? Let's get right into it, with the short answer being hypothetically, yes. Why hypothetically? I think there's not enough research done, especially with the effects of capsaicin and spicy foods benefiting testosterone levels. I think there are benefits of consuming spicy foods, which do contain capsaicin. There's just not enough studies to really draw a complete conclusion around it, and that's why I want to say hypothetically, yes. So let's look at the benefits of spicy foods. What are the benefits of spicy foods? Potential to increase testosterone libido, increase mood, increase metabolism, increase blood flow, and a reduction of inflammation. Now, all these are significant benefits. So what we're going to do is look into how you can benefit from spicy foods and how is it possible that spicy foods can give you these benefits. The reason these benefits occur is from the active ingredient found within spicy foods, which is usually capsaicin, and it's also known as CAP, C-A-P. So we're going to go into some studies. They're going to be linked in the description below for easy access. They're also going to be at the end of this presentation or this PowerPoint. So in one experiment, they had one control group that did not consume any capsaicin, and then they also had two other experimental groups that did consume capsaicin. And the reason they had two experimental groups is because one group was of puberty age and the other was of adult age. The serum testosterone levels of both the experimental groups consuming capsaicin were increased. The adult group, however, saw a more significant increase than the puberty group. More spermatocytes were observed in the experimental group compared to the control group. In both the puberty and adult experimental groups, the seminiferous epithelium was observed to be a little bit more thick than the control group. For those that don't know, the seminiferous epithelium is what is usually around the seminiferous tubules. The seminiferous tubules usually appear as tube-shaped, and they look like tubes, and the walls of those tubes contain cells that are responsible for most testosterone production. And another thing about the seminiferous tubules is they make up around 90% of your testes, so a large amount. So from this first part of the study, what does this mean? This means that CAP, or capsaicin, appears to enhance the testicular cell proliferation and can affect the release of ghrelin and testosterone directly or indirectly. Now, what is its role on ghrelin, and what is ghrelin's role on testosterone production and levels? Let's get into that. So there's evidence that ghrelin is involved in reproductive function, and ghrelin significantly inhibits testosterone secretion. The ghrelin immunoreaction was less intense in the study in the experimental groups, so this means that testosterone production and secretion was less affected by ghrelin levels. But what are ghrelin levels? Well, ghrelin is released when you're hungry. So when you feel hungry, your ghrelin is usually higher, and when you eat, your ghrelin usually goes down. Ghrelin is usually released by the body to indicate that it's about time for you to feed or to eat. So in this study, it does state the ghrelin immunoreaction was less significant in the experimental groups, which means that testosterone production and secretion was less affected by ghrelin. But as to what extent is unknown. So this is another reason why I said hypothetically yes in the short answer. And that's also why I think that further research needs to be done. The reason most people automatically assume, and this is where the misconception usually starts, is because there was one study done on men specifically, where the amount of spicy food they ate and the frequency that they ate and the tolerance that they had for spicy foods was a good indication of their testosterone levels. And the men that were able to handle more spice, ate it on a more frequent basis, usually had higher testosterone levels. So this was actually a really interesting study for me, because it was like, wow, I didn't know that the more spice tolerance you usually had and the more you enjoyed eating spicy food could actually dictate whether you had higher testosterone levels or not. So I thought that was a pretty neat study, but I think that's where a lot of the misconception came around, was like, oh, well, you need to eat more spicy food because that's how you're going to increase your testosterone levels, because this study right here says that higher spice tolerance means higher testosterone. But that's not the case, because if you introduce it into your diet, it's not going to automatically mean that there's going to be a positive correlation in testosterone levels, right? From the MICE study, we can assume that it would increase your testosterone levels and your production. However, to what extent is unknown. And we're also looking at mice, and mice studies do not always transfer over to human studies. It's just not always accurate. So that's another reason why I say hypothetically, yes. Usually eating spicy food, depending on how spicy it is, can become hard no matter your tolerance. Even your tolerance is high, you'll eventually eat enough or have something that's so hot that it will cause discomfort. But the reason it does increase the mood, and it's similar to a runner's high, is because you are actively consuming something that is inherently painful to your body. I mean, it's a defense response created by the pepper to avoid, predators from eating it. And you're willingly eating it and putting your body through that distress of, having something that may be a little too spicy for you. But there's also a euphoria aspect because your brain does release a little bit of serotonin. And that's why it's also similar to a runner's high. But now the real benefit, in my opinion, is the increased metabolism. Now, these studies are really good, and I enjoyed reading them. And I actually learned a little bit from them. I hope you do too. So the active compound capsaicin also helps boost metabolism. You can find it, like I said earlier, in red hot chili peppers, or a lot of the hot peppers, and also turmeric. One study showed that consumption of 2.56 milligrams of capsaicin promotes fat oxidation and negative energy balance and does not increase blood pressure significantly. Another study I looked at showed that consumption of capsaicinoids showed increased energy expenditure by approximately 50 kilocalories a day, and that would produce clinically significant levels of weight loss in about 1 to 2 years. It was also observed that regular consumption significantly reduced abdominal adipose tissue levels and reduced appetite and energy intake. So what this is saying is that if you do eat a lot of spicy foods or introduce spicy foods into your diet, you are going to be burning more calories. So it may not be immediate. You may not see great results within a month or two, but this clearly states within about 1 to 2 years, you'll wind up burning calories and losing weight and having some weight loss. And this is going to be more fat than anything because this is fat oxidation. It's promoting fat oxidation. So it's not like you're losing muscle. It's literally burning the fat off of you. And this is one of the studies that, a lot of these other supplement companies will take and they'll run with. They'll highlight it. They'll put it up on their website. They'll get people that don't want to work out and put in the extra effort of having a good, healthy diet. And they'll be like, take this pill of capsaicin and you're set. That's not how it works. This is not a one pill or one cure wonder to everything. It's not going to cure your depression. It's not going to increase your mood enough to completely cure depression. It may help a little bit. It's not going to increase your metabolism so much that you don't have to have a good, healthy diet or exercise training, right? You have to have a good, healthy diet. You have to have exercise to be able to lose weight and see good results. It's not going to increase your testosterone levels to the point where you look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? The only way you're going to look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is if you're pushing PEDs in your ass, okay? So do not take these benefits and be like, this is so awesome. I can't wait to just start consuming nothing but spicy foods. I'm giving you information. These are clinical studies that you were able to look at in the description below. And I thought before I looked into this that spicy foods would automatically increase testosterone levels. I was under that misconception. And that was from that study I said earlier. The reason I continued to make this video is because I wanted to inform everybody else because I was misinformed. And so I'm trying to inform you guys to make your own decisions, but also give you guys the beneficial information so you guys do understand there are benefits of it, but do not think it's just going to be, the fat's just going to magically melt off and you're going to increase your testosterone libido instantly by consuming spicy foods. Now, it may increase them and you may not even notice. It may be such a small increase that you may not even notice. I hope in the future there are papers that come out that will clarify if it's significant or not. And if it's significant, then obviously this needs to be implemented into someone's diet. Another study, it says that caps may also increase endothelial function, such as blood flow to tissues, catabolism of glucose and fatty acids, as well as inhibiting fatty acid synthesis and reduce oxidative stress. So all these are great benefits and would improve overall metabolic health profile of any individual. Capsaicin not only boosts your metabolism, but also reduces inflammation. Now, I said it could be found in turmeric. And turmeric is also, if you look in another one of the videos of, the top supplements you should be taking that I have on my channel, the nutrition playlist, turmeric is known for being anti-inflammatory. I take it, almost every night. I take, maybe one pill, maybe 2 pills, and I think there are benefits from having turmeric. And if I don't take it, I usually put it on my food. So not only does capsaicin boost your metabolism, but it also reduces inflammation. One study also showed how capsaicin exhibits anti-inflammatory properties by inhibiting the IKBA degradation LPS-stimulated peritoneal macrophages. The reduced inflammation is key to a quicker recovery and overall well-being. We know how beneficial recovery is, especially to us athletes, powerlifters, bodybuilders, or, even if you're just the average gym goer. Extra anti-inflammatory properties coming in from your regular diet are huge. So this is the benefits of spicy foods, but let's go on to the word of caution, which my word of caution to everybody that's watching this video is too much of anything is bad. Everybody know this. Every single one of you guys know that too much of anything is bad. So that's my word of caution for you guys. I looked at studies, there wasn't a lot of studies, just saying that, eating a lot of spicy foods are going to massively harm your health. But personally, this is my opinion, I think too much of anything could be bad and harmful. So what I did find from looking into the negatives of spicy foods, individuals suffering from IBS or hemorrhoids could make them worse by consuming too much spicy foods. I'm not going to go into why that is. If you have irritable bowel syndrome, you're going to know that eating stuff that's usually spicy is going to upset your bowels even worse, and it may even lead to abdominal pain. And if you have hemorrhoids, you understand that, eating spicy food could make you have a harder time when you go to the restroom. So I'm not going to go too deep into that. Another misconception around spicy foods is that they cause ulcers. And no research suggests that spicy food can cause ulcers in the mouth or the stomach. I've actually linked a study that shows that there's no correlation between, spicy foods and the creation of stomach ulcers or mouth ulcers. And, I was under that misconception too. I thought spicy foods increase the chance of stomach ulcers, but that is not the case. However, eating spicy foods may irritate existing ulcers. So if you already have an ulcer and you think the spicy food is what's caused it, you more than likely already had that ulcer, and the implementation of spicy food or, even an improper diet can irritate those ulcers. So overall, do I think you should implement spicy foods into your diet? I think if you enjoy spicy foods or are neutral on spicy foods, then maybe you should increase the consumption of spicy foods that you do have in your diet. I do not mean go run to the store and buy Flamin' Hot Cheetos and eat unhealthy, processed food. You need to be getting the healthy options, such as the real hot chili peppers, the real peppers, the spices that do contain the active ingredient, capsaicin, and you need to be eating healthier. So do not go grab the Takis, do not grab the Cheetos and be like, well, I'm implementing spicy foods. This is what's going to increase my testosterone. This is what's going to give me all these health benefits. That's not the case. You need to be eating healthy. So grab the healthy option, implement it into your diet. If you want to add peppers to your meal, if you want to just sprinkle a little bit of the seasoning on there, that is going to be way more beneficial than grabbing something that's spicy and very processed off the shelf and consuming. Do not use this as a way to rationalize eating unhealthy, okay? Now, if you do not like spicy food, if you absolutely hate spicy food and do not want to eat anything spicy, I don't recommend eating it. You're looking at a small benefit. This is like something to just give you a little bit of an edge. If you want to be a little bit better and just give yourself a little bit less, adipose tissue in your abdominal area. If you want to give yourself a little bit more of a calorie burn every day, a 50K calorie burn, which is not just all that much, right? These are small boosts. They are boosts. They are benefits. They are boosts, however, right? You get increased blood flow. You get a little bit of anti-inflammatory properties that are coming in from the capsaicin. So there are benefits to eating spicy food. However, if you're going to ruin your meal because you hate them so much and you're not going to eat the nutritious meal that you have prepared in front of you, and you're just going to slowly start eating less and less because you are ruining the meal with spicy food, I don't recommend implementing it. There are just some people that do not like spicy food. And so personally for me, if I didn't like spicy food, I wouldn't eat it. It's not worth the benefits of the spicy food if I'm not even going to eat the meal I've prepared for myself. And every meal feels like a chore to eat because, especially for me while I'm bulking, I'm not going to get that meal down because I hate it so much. There might be other alternatives to try to get that spice in there if you might be able to cover it up with other stuff. I'm not really sure, but I think if you enjoy spicy food or neutral on spicy food, implement it. If you don't like it, don't. So here's my resources. They're linked down below. I hope you have a good morning, a good night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.